Hello everyone, and you know what time it is banner review time. Today's video is going to be probably a little bit longer, as I'm going to explain if you should summon depending on if you are a newer player, like an in-between player, or a returning player, so to say, and a long-time free-to-play player, or just in general, just a long-time player in general. So first, let's get into the banner itself. In my opinion, I believe this is the best collab banner overall, just flat out. Mainly because the 4 characters on the banner all have a use. For example, the hunting hero, which is this one here, she can be used in OG Demon. It's actually very good for OG Demon. Obviously, Nalfmi and Raftalia, like the show, they work perfect together. And Philo is a god tier unknown DPS. Obviously, you can use these two in PvP. They're very good. They're obviously defense related stats, but we'll get onto that later. Anyway, onto the banner. So I'll explain what all these characters do at the end, but obviously you've got Nalfami, Raftalia, who are both blue, green, who's Philo, the hunting hero, and obviously you got your blue demon melee, horrible, another horrible character, a few more horrible characters, but now this is where you start to get the good stuff. So I'm going to classify these two, oh bloody hell, Tarmiel and Sorrel as good characters, only because a newer player would not have them. If a newer player was to start, these two characters, especially I think Blue Tarmiel, would work very well on this team. Obviously, you would want to give Red Tarmiel to Nalfami, but then you could give Blue Tarmiel to Raftalia. You're probably thinking, oh, why would you do that? You're doing it for the stats. I'm going to make a whole video on how defense scaling works, defense to attack scaling, the pros and cons of it. I'll make another video on that another time. Probably after the collab's out. I'll then do a video on it using those characters as examples, just make it much easier. Obviously, this Arthur's always good for the Barn team. Sigurd, a character who's evaded me still, and these two are very hot characters at the moment. So Magelda is needed for bird, and Freya is good for bird, deer, and dogs. He is overall a very good unit. The more copies you get of him, the better. Honestly, same with Magelda. With Magelda's only used in bird though, but the more copies of her ultimate you get, the better she is on the final floor. On floor 2, she can guarantee hit damage cap at 1/6, but it's when you hit floor 3 is where you realize the damage cap's like 300 and something K or like 400k, and that's where you want like a 6/6 Magelda, so she hits it every time. Overall, the banner is decent from the waist down. What I mean by that, it's decent. Like, let's just say this is the head. This is the body, and this is like below the waist. This is like all the leg. Like this is what's keeping this banner up. I'm not gonna lie, this is what's keeping this banner up, and the characters. It's very good, these characters. Let me actually get into what they do. So first we will start with Nalfami. So Nalfami, I'll just click on him. That would be very helpful. His stance card assumes a stance which taunts enemies and increases defense-related stats. I'll do the golden one first. By 80% for 2 turns, it removes all debuffs, and only 1 debuff can be on the hero. The only difference between ranks 1, 2, and 3 is that 1 is 30% defense-related stats and 1 turn, as you can see here. 1 turn and 30% defense-related stats, 2 turns 50% defense-related stats, and 2 turns 80% defense-related stats. They all remove debuffs. They all only allow 1 debuff on Nalfami at once. Now let's move on to this new debuff card. So this new debuff card is called Black Curse Burning. Inflicts damage equal to 110% of defense on all enemies. Applies a curse for 1 turn. Curse is the name of the new debuff. So this curse is very low multiplier, but Nalfami makes up with it with the damage he hits for. So first, if you look at it, it's so what the debuff does is this new debuff prevents ultimate move gauge from filling up for 2 turns on the enemies who do not use a skill, which can be very useful sometimes, just randomly. But to be honest, he's a utility character that's practically a DPS. Well, he is a DPS. He's a utility / DPS character. He's insane. This actually has, like, not bad So it's 1 turn, 2 turns, 2 turns. Obviously, the multiplier is stupidly high when you hit a gold card because it makes up for it only lasting for 2 turns still. But as you can see, it only increases by 55%, and then 110%. 110% is like adding these 2 cards together, got you this card. So it's really worth it for that damage. And overall, that curse, it does last for 2 turns. Means everyone on their team has to use a card for 2 turns, which can be really irritating. And now let's get on to the ultimate, which is the Iron Maiden. Decreases all stats of one enemy, which is the enemy you are attacking, by 5% for 2 turns. Inflicts Wrath, which is, he has a new thing in his passive, you'll know that later on. Damage equal to 480% of his defense on the enemy. So he does get a boost for every Proof of Wrath he has. So 1, 6, 5%, 2, 6, 10%, 15%, 20%, 25%, and 30%. That's how it works. I think it also means he lowers more stats as well, by also the same percentage. So he'll lower their stats by all their stats by 30%, and then he'll do 30% per extra stack of Proof of Wrath he has on him. Now we go on to his passive, which is his main thing. Also, I'll also explain his relic as well, which is when the hero assumes a stance at the start of the battle, increase all allies' basic stats by 30% of the hero's defense. When the hero takes damage from enemy skills on enemy's turn, applies 1 Proof of Wrath on the hero up to a maximum of 6. For every Proof of Wrath, increase the hero's all target skill damage by 35%. Which means his AoE card will do more damage. His Proof of Wrath, no, what was it called? The Curse card will do more damage. This card will do more damage, and it's only for AoE, so that means his ultimate doesn't do more damage, but I think that's why his ultimate actually scales with, because obviously they probably didn't know what multiply or know what effect to give him, so instead they just gave him this. So the higher your ult level is, the higher it'll scale with each Proof of Wrath, so if you get him 6/6, you'll only end up losing like 30% damage output, which isn't too bad, but of course if you're 1/6, you're going to be missing a lot. Like a lot of damage you'll be missing, which is kind of insane. Next character, we'll go to Rough Talia next. So Rough Talia has a Flood card, which is this card. The multipliers are actually lower than normal, so this card should be 200%, this card should be 300%, this card should be 500%, but as defense scaling is much higher than attack scaling, of course they have to change the multipliers, because if not, she would be beyond broken. And with that, I'm also going to go with the reason her actual substats, or at least her attack substats, are super low. This card is a 7 card. It's also got a lower multiplier as well. This one's higher. This and these two are lower, so I think they're trying to get the level 1s to do more damage. But this card is meant to do 450, I believe, which is kind of sad. But I do understand that defense scaling is much higher than attack scaling. And then you have her ultimate, which is it's literally Gallon's ult, but AoE. This buff doesn't change, so this is increase basic stats by 50% for 3 turns, inflicts damage equal to 320% of defense on all enemies. This is at 1/6, of course, and at 6/6 is 490%. So the multiplier itself isn't too high, but the 50% basic stat increase, that means her defense will then increase by 50%. And then, obviously, Nalfmi on the team, increasing stats by a stupid amount. And then... Oh, actually, I didn't go over Nalfmi's relic. Sorry, let's go back to Nalfmi's relic. I forgot about Nalfmi's relic. So, Nalfmi's relic is... You can't see it on here. But when the hero's HP hits 0, recover HP by 350% of the hero's defense. That's his defense at the time. That... Oh my god, that gives him 700 defense. That's all. That's more than what Blue Tarmiel gets. That's insane. Anyway, on to Rough Talia again. Her passive is, at the start of the battle, increase all allies' max HP by 300% of the hero's defense. If all allies participating in the battle of the same attribute, reduce allies' damage taken by 30%. This means that if everyone on your team is blue, she'll obviously decrease your damage taken by 30%, which is pretty much Blue Tarmiel, his stance. That's practically what that is. Plus increase the HP by her defense, which you'll probably, let's just say she's got 17k defense, which you'll probably have more than 17k defense if you make a good UR set for her and get her relic. So you're looking at probably around like 51 to 60k extra HP on all your characters, which means that she might out HP some of your other characters, Like, she would definitely out HP everyone in my box. If she had like 17k HP, she would probably out HP everyone else in my box. And her relic. Sorry. Her relic is that when an ally assumes a stance, increased damage dealt by allies participating in the battle by 40%. So I want to say her passive with her relic, so she's literally a blue Tamio without having to have either blue Tamio on the team. I think blue Tamio is still good to have on this team because obviously another defense-based character. I'm not sure if her relic can stack, because if her relic can stack, it would... Maybe you can, actually, because she does seem sort of broken in a sort of way. And I said I would explain why her basic stats are so low. So her basic stats is she's only got 30% crit chance and 150% crit damage. So the reason for that is because she's a defense-related character. Obviously, she's going to have higher defense-related stats. No, not higher defense-related stats, but higher defense than attack, than a normal attack character would. Which would mean that if she had decent attack-related stats, it would be absurd. She just would be completely broken. This was the way of balancing them, make it so they struggle to crit. Obviously, she has a Sever card, means her crit chance gets to around the same as base Philo, with 3 times her base. She has base crit chance of 30%, Philo has a base crit chance of 80%. But obviously, you'd probably give her crit chance gear so she can crit anyway. This Flood card hits... If this Flood card crits at level 1, I've seen do 400k. I've seen this card do 400k in PvP. I've seen this card do 600k in PvP. It's stupid. Obviously, her role is also very good as well. I wish it was all... If it was all stats, it would have been God tier. Like, beyond God tier. Anyway, on to Philo next. So, Philo is a very interesting character. Of course, she's unknown. Roftali is unknown, and Nalfmi is a human. She has... Philo has the best stats out of all of them. Her starting CC is 4.7k, her lifesteal is 15%, her crit chance is 80%, and her crit damage is already 180%. This is without Super Awakening or anything. She's really broken. So this card is a AoE weak point card. It's actually really broken. You can probably one-turn people with it. And she has the Goddess Liz stun card as well, with the same multipliers and the same thing. She's attack-based. And her ultimate is identical to Green Soldier's. And also 5/6, the debuff lasts for 3 turns. And lowers, I think it's all, is it all enemies? All enemies defend HP related. Yeah, it's HP related stats. Oh my god, I thought it was just HP. Lowers all their HP related stats by 25% at 6/6. And lasts for 3 turns. Let's go on to her passive. So her passive is when an ally damages an enemy with a skill, for every debuff on the enemy, ignores 8% of crit resistance and crit defense. If there are 5 or more debuffs on the enemy, increase the hero's single target damage increase the hero's single target attack skill damage by 60%. It doesn't include ultimates, and the lowering of crit resistance and crit defense is maxed at 5. Means you can practically lower their. Her passive is she practically lowers their stats more than what's his name, Death Pierce. She's a cracked version of Death Pierce just by her passive. Her passive is really better than Death Pierce. It buffs your enemies. Her single target card damage does more damage. Her single target card with max debuffs can one shot, like most characters, which is kind of stupid. And this is the reason why. So her relic is for every debuff on the enemies, increase the hero's attack-related stats by 3%. You think, oh, that's fine, probably stats for like 5 times, like 15%. No, it stacks up to 15 times, means she gets 45% attack-related stats, plus her already stupidly high attack-related stats, plus she ignores half their crit resistance and crit defense. You're not going to, let's just say, you're not really going to need Sariel Link on her. She's practically Sariel on Heroine. It's stupid. And on to the final new character on the banner, we have the Hunting Hero. So the Hunting Hero has an AoE Pierce card, which is this card, the same as Trait Melee, same multiplier as Trait Melee. This is Arthur's buff card, same, so level 1, only works on one hero on your team. The entire team plus higher stats and immunity. Then you have her ultimate. So her ultimate, I believe, is the same as, I want to say, Ragnarok Diane. Increases all allies' damage by 7% for 2 turns and inflicts 400% equal to attack on all enemies. And then we have her passive, which is in PvE, if the hero damages an enemy on an ally's turn, rank up all of the hero's cards and remove all debuffs from the allies. This doesn't work in Demonic Beast. As you can see here, it doesn't work in Demonic Beast, so you can't use it for dogs or bird or anything like that. It also doesn't work in PvP as well. It's a PvE only passive. So this is the part where her passive, or let's just say, this is the part where she gets broken. Her relic. When the hero's skills are ranked up, increase all allies' attack-related stats by 30% for 2 turns. You're probably thinking, oh, that's not. So yeah, it's probably going to be your own team if you're doing OG Demon, for example. If they're running the new Dian, or not the new Dian, the Summer Dian, and their cards also automatically rank up turn 1, it procs when they rank up their cards. And it only got to be on your team. She only has to be on your team. And whenever they rank up a card or move a card and it ranks up, boom. Everyone on the team gets 30% attack-related stats, which is absurd. It's absolutely absurd. She's probably the best free-to-play character for that Demonic Beast. If you do not have, you could probably one person can run her, one person can run Dian, and you could just do that tactic, and it would still be broken. She seems very good. Obviously, you would want to run her with a DPS team, and if your friend has Summer Merlin, no, not Summer Merlin, Summer Dian, it'll also make it much quicker. Overall, the collab characters all have very good uses. What I mean by that, I mean they are all usable in a way. It's not like, let's look at ReZero. It's a recent ReZero event. Ekidon is usable, Reinhardt's usable, Rem's a good, actually she was free, so I could say free to play. She was a good free to play DPS for Bird. Ram's a good character. Beatrice is horrible, and Amelia fell off. This character has all collab characters that are usable currently. A good free-to-play character there. A broken DPS and a practical one-man army. Nathmi is a literal one-man army. His lifesteal is absurd. This guy can practically... I've seen him like 1v4 a team. He does not care. But anyway, if you're a long-term player, I recommend summoning mainly for the fact that if you are a long-term player and you don't have Summer Dian or you use unknown characters, for example, Merlin, I think that's the reason she is the best character, by the way. I think they buffed her when Merlin came out. Obviously, they must have been working on this collab for quite a while, so they must have known that Merlin was coming out, and then they buffed her accordingly to make Merlin broken. These two are also very good. If you're a newer player, I would still definitely recommend summoning, mainly because of all the other characters on the banner. So Green Escanor is a very good character at the beginning. This Tank Dian's meh. This melee isn't bad, but these characters here are all very useful. Arthur is very restricted with his passive. Sigurd's very good. Miguelda can only be used in Demonic Beast, but it's always good to start getting the characters early, so you can start working on them, and then it'll be much easier later on. Frey's a very overall broken unit. He can be used in Demons, Demonic Beast, PvE, PvP, you name it, he can be used in it. He's a very good character. The more dupes, the better. He has a Death Ultimate, which is why he's like super broken. So I recommend everyone probably summoning on it, because later on down the line, these two are blue units, right? And they are not restricted by race. Meaning that if there is another broken blue festival unit, let's just say, that's not Esterosa, that doesn't and isn't very restricted with a passive, we could be looking at the worst meta probably ever, which is you attack null for me, you die by null for me, the festival just sits there and looks pretty. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Obviously, this is just my opinion. You can watch other YouTubers and then build your opinion off it. Obviously, I don't have all the characters myself, only on JP. I only have, where is she? This one, which is the free character everyone gets. And I have Raftalia as well, who I got 2/6. Of course, if you're going to be summoning, I will do how to build. So the how to builds will come out the day after, one at a time. So they'll be spread out very much. But you will get how to build on all of the collab characters, including sub-roles, is it worth to get their outfits, ult levels, recommendations, stuff like that. I will go through all of that in different videos. So yeah. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.